So it was YOU, the anonymous source?
Someone had to tell the truth while you were drowning in lies.
Want to know what happened next? Subscribe to the channel, hit like, and leave your comment after listening. The continuation is already waiting. A narrow, stifling room is drowned in the bluish glow of monitors. Servers hum nonstop, tearing the silence with an even buzz. Lieutenant Kate Sanders sits motionless, both hands clenched around the control stick. On her head is a headset with ear cups and a mic, carrying the clipped voices of command. On the screen before her, a black and white bird's-eye image. In the crosshairs, a small settlement somewhere across the ocean. On another continent, thousands of miles from here, an MQ-9 Reaper circles. She is flying it from a snug trailer on an air base in Nevada. Target confirmed, drones the sensor operator, Sergeant John Miller, seated beside her. On his second monitor, he zooms the image. A rectangular building with a flat roof, an SUV parked beside it. Figures move around the vehicle. Kate tightens her jaw. This must be at the meet site where, Intel says, a dangerous terror leader is present. Their crew's task is to confirm the target and eliminate it. She peers into the screen. The figures are ant-small, but the thermal imager picks out hot bodies against the cool morning stone. One of the shapes holds something that looks like a rifle. "I have an armed individual," she says quietly, tagging the target with a marker. Her heart thunders in her chest, but her voice stays steady and even, just like they taught. In training she always heard, "Calm is your weapon, panic your enemy." In her headset, the flight lead's voice comes through. "Wolf 1, clearance to prosecute confirmed. Target is priority. Stand by." Wolf 1 is their call sign. Kate swallows the lump in her throat and replies. "Copy, target captured, commencing." The view locks onto the rectangular building. A small bright diamond appears the aim point. Kate exhales, flips the safety off with her thumb. Her index finger hovers over the red missile launch button. Seconds stretch unbearably long. She realizes she is holding her breath. "Fire!" The command snaps suddenly in her ears. The lead's voice is detached and severe. Without a beat, Kate presses the button. From the drone's camera, she watches a missile fall away from the wing. The camera tracks as it streaks toward the aim point, shrinking as it goes. Kate hears her own heartbeat louder than the server noise. She is not even breathing. After a few seconds, a fierce flare blossoms where the building stood. The display whitens with a blazing sphere and explosion. The trailer jolts with a sudden shout. "Good hit," John exclaims, eyes on the telemetry. Kate keeps staring at the monitor. A pressure builds in her chest. Her fingers clamp the stick. Slowly, the white glare fades. The camera flips back to day mode. A column of smoke rises from the aim point. The building is gone. Only a black crater remains with debris scattered around. "Target destroyed," she reports into the mic in a mechanical voice that does not feel like hers. Inside, a strange emptiness swells. She barely has time to exhale when she catches movement on screen. Through dust and smoke, shadows scramble over the rubble. Survivors? Yes, several figures run from the blast center. The camera sharpens. They are people. One crawls, dragging a leg. Another tries to stand. Kate's blood runs cold at the sight. She sees long hair spilling from under a scarf, a woman. Beside a motionless body on the ground, a man bends down. He lifts a small form, a child, a limp small body, the head lolling. The woman rushes to them, her mouth open in a silent scream. Kate stares at the footage, forgetting everything. It feels like someone punched the air from her lungs. Her knuckles blanch on the stick. "God, there are civilians," bursts out of her. Her throat cinches. John is frozen too, the color gone from his face. "That can't be," he whispers, but the screen leaves no doubt. Women, children, figures with no weapons milling around the crater. One man runs with a child in his arms. Static crackles in her headset. Then the lead's cool voice. "Wolf 1 status. Report your situation." Kate swallows panic and answers, her voice shaking. Target destroyed. There are Additional moving objects at the blast site. She cannot bring herself to say civilians, the word will not come. But everyone understands without it. Silence hangs on the net. After a beat, the lead says, dry as paper. Copy. Additional objects not confirmed. Maintain overwatch. Await further tasking. Not confirmed. Kate squints at the radio panel, stunned. Not confirmed how. She is looking right at them. There are children, she whispers, mic muted, glancing at John. He meets her with wide eyes. He is just as shocked. Kate, he murmurs, it could be a mistake. They weren't supposed to be there. Her heart is pounding up in her throat. Along the top of the display, a red note blinks. Ordnance expended. There will be no second shot, and at whom would she fire? At the survivors? The thought is horrific. Kate keys the mic again, voice leveled off. Continuing Overwatch copy. Her hands obey muscle memory. She arcs the drone into an orbit over the site, widens the camera to watch the perimeter. But her eyes keep coming back to that awful tableau. Right there on the screen, a woman rocks a lifeless child in her arms, swaying as if in a trance. Nearby, two men claw at the dirt, trying to clear chunks of wall. Under the slabs, more bodies. Inside Kate, everything tightens. The image swims. It was her. She did this. She pressed the button. She leans back, suddenly short of air. She wants to rip the headset off, to run, to wake up from this nightmare, but she is pinned in place. Beside her, John swears under his breath, hands clamped over his headset as if he cannot trust his ears. His voice cracks. Damn it, this is a mistake. Someone say, this is a mistake. Only silence answers. Command says nothing. Are they deciding what to do? Or have they already decided? After 5 long minutes, the net comes alive. Wolf 1, depart the target area. Return to base. Terminate. Kate blinks. That is it? Just terminate. Roger, she forces out. The autopilot habits still hold, though inside everything is screaming. She sets the drone on a homeward course. On the screen, the woman keeps rocking the child until the drone pulls too far away and loses her from view. Kate looks away. Departing now, she reports, her voice hollow and trembling. Copy, Wolf 1. Good work, comes the reply. Good work. Kate slowly lowers her hands. John has already taken off his headset and stares ahead, glass-eyed. She slips hers down onto her neck. It still carries the faint crackle of the net. Her mouth is dry. Her chest heaves. Is it over? Did they just? Lieutenant Sanders, Sergeant Miller, comes a voice from the doorway, another operator from the next station. Your shift's done. Go get some rest. There is an easy lightness in his tone. He must have noticed their successful strike and honestly thinks they are pleased. Kate can barely keep from screaming. She nods in silence and rises on shaky legs. Her chair rolls back under her weight, casters squeaking in the hush. John gets up too, struggling to meet her eyes. They step outside, leaving their souls in that stifling trailer, blown apart with the people left on the screen. The Nevada sun slams into her eyes. Kate squints, walking out of the dark trailer. The hot air sears her lungs, a harsh contrast after the icy, conditioned room. She takes a few steps along the concrete path, knees going weak. Her vision swims. A moment later, she retches. Kate barely makes it around the trailer corner before she vomits. Bitter yellow bile spatters the sand. She braces a palm on the container wall, gulping for air. The edges of her vision darken. Hey, you okay? John is suddenly there, a hand on her shoulder. His face is pale too, his brow shining with sweat. Kate wipes her lips with a trembling hand. Her throat burns with acid, but it is nothing compared to the emptiness and horror inside. She opens her mouth to speak. A sob comes out instead. John gently draws her in. For a moment, she resists from shame, from shock, from everything at once. But his arms are steady, and finally she lets go. She buries her face in his chest, her shoulders shaking with muffled sobs. It's awful, she whispers through tears. There were kids, John, kids. He says nothing, just rubs her back. What is there to say? After a few seconds, she pulls away, swiping at her eyes with the back of her hand. Shame washes over her. She is a soldier, an Air Force officer, who endured hard training and passed every test. Now she is crying into a colleague's shirt like a child. Sorry, Kate rasps, avoiding his eyes. John exhales, still holding her by the shoulders so she stays upright. Don't be. Everyone reacts after something like this. She looks up at him, eyes bright with tears. Everyone, John, we just... Her voice breaks again. We killed them, civilians. His face pinches, as if in pain. He locks his jaw. We didn't know, he says softly but firmly. We were told only combatants were present. The target was confirmed. Confirmed, she twists a bitter smile through tears. Confirmed by who? The same people pretending nothing happened? Objects not confirmed. How is that not confirmed? I saw them. She speaks in broken bursts, but then stops as she notices John glance around. He flicks his eyes toward the wall. Only now does Kate realize, near the trailer, others or cameras might be around. A military base is a place where walls have ears, especially after a mission that went sideways. She swallows and nods that she understands. She has to get control. They are still on duty, still inside the unit. Emotions will have to be shelved. Come on, John says quietly. We need to sign out and grab our stuff. Kate wipes her face, trying to pull the mask of professionalism back on. Her knees still wobble. John notices. Let me drive you, he offers. You should not get behind the wheel right now. She nods. He is right. She is shaking so hard, she doubts she could even start her car. They walk side by side past the row of identical gray containers, the operator cabins. Conditioners drone everywhere, and farther off, a fighter roars off the main runway. The sun is merciless. Sweat soaks the back of Kate's camouflage blouse. At the entrance to the admin building, they stop. John throws her a quick, worried look. You okay to go in? Kate dabs the last wetness from her eyes. Shame forces her to stand straight. I can. All right, I'm right here if you need me. She pulls open the heavy door. Inside it is cool and smells like coffee. A wall clock ticks 5:45 in the morning. The duty officer behind the desk looks up from his monitor. Finished your shift, Lieutenant Sanders? Sergeant Miller? Yes, John answers for her, sensing her voice may fail. Wolf 1 crew has completed the tasking. The officer notes it in the log. His face is indifferent, as if this were routine. Kate feels a sudden urge to shout, You have no idea what we've done. She restrains it. Her hands only ball into fists. You're released, he nods, eyes dropping back to the screen. John nudges Kate with an elbow, guiding her toward the exit. She walks on autopilot. Minutes later, they are in the parking lot. Rows of staff cars glare in the sun. John leads her to his SUV, opens the passenger door, helps her in. She sinks into the seat, a bone-deep fatigue spreading through her body. He slides behind the wheel and starts the engine. Silence stretches. At last, he glances over. Home or infirmary? Home, she says softly. She wants neither home nor medics. She wants to wake up and find this was a nightmare. It is not. They roll through the base gate. Beyond the fence, a straight highway runs through the endless gray-yellow Nevada desert. The sun climbs higher. The day will be brutal. Kate stares out the side window at the monotony, not seeing it. The same image is still there, a woman crying over a child. She closes her eyes. The image sharpens. Tears threaten again. She tries to latch onto something else. Have you seen this before? She asks, voice thin, eyes still forward. He is quiet longer than she expects. The SUV hums along. I have, John says at last, very softly. In 1.5 years here, there were a few times. Kate turns her head slowly. John keeps his eyes on the road, but his tense grip on the wheel tells her this is not easy for him either. And how did you live with it? He shrugs, gaze fixed ahead. I didn't, not really. At first I had nightmares. Then I just talked myself into believing we were doing important work, that it meant something. His voice sounds empty. Kate studies his profile. The morning light cuts sharp shadows across his face. He looks older than he is, as if that year and a half added a decade. I do not know if I can, she murmurs, eyes dropping to her shaking hands. Her nails still bite her palms. Make peace with it. Maybe with time, he says, not very convincingly. For now, do not spiral, okay? Kate gives a bitter smile. Do not spiral. Easy to say. John flicks a quick, gentler look. Listen, if you want to talk, anytime. Call me, or come over. I am here, all right. She nods slowly. The simple kindness brings a small measure of relief. She is not alone in this hell, at least one person understands. Thank you, she whispers. They drive the rest of the way in silence. At home, Kate feels like a ghost. A small apartment in suburban Las Vegas, the cream sofa, the TV, the shelf with a photo of her parents, all painfully familiar. Now it all feels unreal, like a set. She peels off her uniform onto the bedroom floor, not bothering to hang or fold it. She barely makes it to the bed and drops face first into the pillow. The tears have dried, leaving a heavy residue of emptiness. The same picture flashes in her head again and again. The blast, the screams, the child in a man's arms. She does not remember falling asleep. Sleep comes in fragments and drags her back across the ocean. She stands in a wrecked courtyard, blackened debris all around, dust hanging in the air. Everything is oddly colorless, like an old black and white film. Kate looks down. Her hands are colorless too. Voices drift from far away, as if through water. A child lies in front of her. A little boy, about 5 years old. His eyes are open and fixed. Kate drops to her knees, trembling hands touching his shoulder. Cold. The child's body is white, so starkly white, like a thermal hotspot fading as it cools. No, no, she whispers, trying to lift him. But he is impossibly heavy, slipping from her arms and thudding back like a doll. A woman in a torn headscarf stands nearby the mother. Her eyes are empty, aimed straight at Kate. She raises a shaking finger and points. This is your doing. Her voice is a haunting whisper that echoes. Behind her, others gather men, women, even children. All wounded, bloodied, burned. Their empty eyes bore into Kate. I did not mean to, she chokes, reaching toward them. I did not know. The figures press closer. The eyes of the dead ignite with white fire. Their mouths open in a silent scream. The blast roars again. Kate bolts upright with a cry. Her heart hammers, sweat slicks her face. Dusk fills the room, evening already. For a moment, she cannot place herself. Her body trembles as if chilled. It is a dream, only a dream, she repeats in her head, trying to slow her pulse. She gropes for the lamp switch. Soft light pushes back the dark. Everything looks normal. The nightstand, the uniform crumpled on the floor, boots by the door. A dream, or rather a nightmare. Her phone blinks with a red mist message light. She reaches for it. Several texts and one voicemail. From John. She opens the texts. How are you? I'm really worried. Call when you can. And an hour later. I thought about stopping by, but I don't know if you're home. Tell me if you need anything. The voicemail was left about 20 minutes ago. She taps play, lifting the phone to her ear. A moment of hesitant silence, then his voice. Hey, Kate, it's me. You're probably sleeping, but I'll say it anyway. You are not alone, okay? If you want to talk or just have company, I'll come. I'd be glad to see you. Take care. She lowers the phone, warmth and something else washing through her chest. She aches for a living presence, someone to push the ghosts away. Kate dials him. He answers almost at once. Hey, Kate? Hey, she says softly. Sorry I didn't reply earlier. I was sleeping. I'm glad you got some rest, John says, relief obvious. How are you? She hesitates. What can she say? That every time she closes her eyes, she sees dead children. At last, stupid dream, I'm okay now. He pauses. Want some company? I could swing by, bring food. She catches herself nodding, though he cannot see it. She really does not want to be alone. If it's not a hassle, that would be nice. All right, I know a place with decent Chinese takeout. I can be there in about half an hour, okay? Okay, she answers quietly. She ends the call and sinks back into the pillow with a heavy sigh. Conflicted, ashamed to need help so badly, and honestly relieved she will not be alone. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rings. Kate hastily pulls on a clean t-shirt and sweats. She still looks rough, red eyes, tousled hair. She does not care. She opens the door. John stands there with a paper bag. He is in civvies jeans, a shirt, a tired smile. Hey, he says softly, I brought food. I wasn't sure what you like, so I got rice, sweet and sour chicken, and some veggies. Thanks. Come in, she says, stepping aside. John enters, glancing around. The apartment is small but tidy, though right now things are scattered. Sorry about the mess, Kate mutters, scooping her uniform off the couch. It's fine, he says, setting the bag on the coffee table. How are you feeling? She shrugs. It was a rough day. Then adds a crooked smile. Dumb question, right? How can you feel after that? John's look is gentle. Listen, if you want to talk about it, or if you want to talk about nothing at all, I'm here. Your call. Another lump rises in her throat. She nods thanks and gestures for him to sit. We can just be, I'm not sure yet. I probably need a little distraction. They sit side by side. John opens containers and sets them out. Kate realizes she is not hungry, but takes a few bites out of politeness. The taste barely registers. You know, she begins after a long pause. That was my first real combat launch. For months, I only did reconnaissance. And then, right away, this. She trails off. He waits. This tragedy, she finishes quietly, eyes down. I joined to protect people, and it turns out. You are not at fault, John says firmly, touching her hand. You did your job. You're a skilled operator, Kate. The intel was wrong, or he clenches a fist, or someone higher up rushed and ignored the risk. They'll bury it, won't they? She asks, bitter. They already are, pretending nothing happened. John looks away. He will not lie to her. Most likely, yes. Target eliminated, and they move on. And the dead, anger flares, burning hotter than grief for a moment. Do they move on too? Who tells them good work? John sighs, raking a hand through his hair. It hurts me the same way, but we've been told to keep quiet. You know what happens otherwise. He does not finish, but Kate understands. Talk too much, and she will have real trouble. Classified, orders, chain of command, all of it crushing truth. It's wrong, she whispers, staring past him. How do we just live with it, knowing what we did, and not even try to make it right? What would you do? He asks carefully. I don't know, her hands knot. Tell the truth. Apologize to those people. Somehow, accept responsibility. No one would listen. More likely you'd be punished, John says, steady. Me too, if I backed you. We were trained to do the job and not ask questions. I think it's awful too, but... She looks at him, hurt and disappointed. So you think we should just swallow it and keep quiet? I don't know, Kate. He looks beaten. I've seen this before. It's always the same. When it happened, they told us to shut up and carry on. She turns away. Tears brim again, this time from anger and helplessness. It's inhuman. We're not machines. He has no answer. He shifts closer and, tentative, drapes an arm around her shoulders. Kate flinches at first, then lets herself lean in. She tucks her face against his shoulder. I'm so sorry, he murmurs. If I could change it. I know, she feels his warmth. It starts to soften the ice inside. She looks up. John is looking back close, intent. There is so much tenderness and care in his eyes that her heart begins to race for another reason. Kate notices their faces are very close. In the next instant, almost without realizing it, she leans toward him. Their lips meet, tentative, careful. The kiss tastes salty from her tears, yet it is so warm. John freezes for a heartbeat in surprise, then pulls her closer, answering with a deeper kiss. His hand touches her face gently, his thumb wiping away a tear on her cheek. Kate closes her eyes. In this moment, she lets go of all the pain, all the grief, leaving only the desperate need to be near a living person, to feel alive herself. She presses into him, their lips moving with growing urgency. When she starts to lose her breath, Kate breaks away for a second, catching air with her mouth. Both of them stare wide-eyed at each other, as if asking, "Are we really doing this?" John says softly, "Kate, are you sure? We can stop if—" She answers by pressing her lips to his again. This time, the kiss is decisive, hot. She is truly sure she needs this, she needs him. Maybe tomorrow she will regret it or feel ashamed, but right now she needs to feel anything other than pain. His fingers slide under her t-shirt, finding the heat of her back. The touch sends a tremor through Kate for the first time in many hours, not from fear, but from a pleasure kindling deep in her chest and spreading through her body. She is not ashamed for the first time in a long, while she feels beautiful and wanted. She leans in and kisses his neck, while her fingers find the hem of his shirt, helping him shrug it off. He gets the shirt off, and Kate runs her fingers across his chest, feeling the strong thud of his heart under warm skin. "Stay with me, tonight," she whispers, barely audible. "As long as you want," he replies, voice rough. She reaches back and unhooks her bra. It falls to the floor, baring her breasts. John's palm moves over them gently, his gaze darkened with desire. Kate feels as if her skin is burning under his touch. He lowers his mouth, covering her neck and collarbones with kisses that drift slowly downward. Kate sighs, the tension giving way to waves of passion. Her hands tremble as she unbuckles his belt. John helps with his pants, left in his underwear. A heartbeat later, they are naked, joined, bodies burning with want. In the dusk, there is only their breathing and muted moans. In that moment, there is no pain, no fear, only the two of them and the heat of each other's nearness. When it is over, Kate lies tucked against John's side, listening as his heartbeat slowly settles. He holds her, stroking her shoulder. A few sparse stars show through the window in Nevada's night sky. She feels a strange relief. No, it does not erase what happened. But next to him, she does not feel so cold and dark inside. "Are you okay?" John asks quietly, kissing her forehead with care. "Yes," she whispers. "Thank you for staying." He only holds her tighter. For the first time in a long while, Kate falls asleep without dreams. The next morning, Kate wakes to a nagging alarm. She opens her eyes and for a moment cannot understand why she is not alone in the room. Then she feels a strong, warm arm draped over her waist and remembers. John is on the pillow beside her, breathing slow and even. Kate carefully silences the alarm. Dawn is just breaking outside the window. Both of them need to be on base at 7:30 for an operations brief. Last night, while checking email before bed, she found an order to report to a meeting about the previous day's mission. John stirs awake and rubs his eyes. He meets her gaze and smiles gently. "Good morning." "Hi," she answers softly. Silence hangs between them for a beat. In daylight, last night's passion feels a little unreal. She worries, does he regret it? Did they make a mistake? "How do you feel?" John asks, as if reading her mind. Kate gives a small, awkward smile. "A little strange, but I don't regret it." He nods, clearly relieved. "Me neither." They lie there a moment longer, looking at each other. John strokes her shoulder again. "You know, I've liked you for a long time. I just didn't want to rush you or put you in a tough spot." Warmth rises in Kate's cheeks. "I've thought about you too." She looks away. "I just wish it hadn't happened under these circumstances." What matters is that it happened, he says gently. Then he glances at the clock. We should get moving, or we'll be late for the brief. They get ready quickly. Kate changes into a fresh uniform and twists her hair into a neat bun. John pulls on the uniform he had in his car. Kate notices a slight stiffness in his movements. Maybe he is also anxious about how they will act at work now. Still, that is a secondary worry. 40 minutes later, they are on base, in the headquarters building. About 10 people gather in a small conference room. Unit commanders, intel analysts, the drone crew, and a few other officers. A screen in the corner shows a satellite map of the target area. Kate and John take seats near the end of the table. Tension sits in the air. She sits straight, hands clasped in her lap, though anxiety churns inside. Colonel Lewis is nearby the squadron commander. It was his voice in her headset last night, giving the order to fire. The colonel wraps a folder on the table to start. Let's review yesterday's operation. Objective: eliminate the leader of the Al-Shabaab cell in Sector S, executed by UAV Crew Wolf 1. He nods toward Kate and John. You acted quickly, target neutralized with a precision missile. Congratulations on a successful mission. A few officers nod in approval. Kate feels her jaw clench. Successful mission. The colonel continues. Based on current reporting, the individual killed was Akim Nazir, also known as Khalid. Our human sources confirm he was inside that building at the time of the strike and did not survive. A photo pops up on the screen, a dark-skinned, bearded man. Colonel Lewis goes on. This is a significant blow to the network. Well done all. Some around the table offer restrained applause. Bile rises in Kate's throat. In her eyes, last night's success looks very different, a woman wailing over her son. The colonel flips a page. Now, collateral effects. Post-strike footage showed several figures at the target site. Reports are already circulating online that these were civilian casualties. Some media, citing local sources, claim between 5 and 10 fatalities, including women and children. Kate hangs on every word. The colonel looks up. I want to be clear. These reports are not confirmed. Intelligence is investigating. This is likely an information operation by the adversary to discredit us. With your permission, an intel staffer Young, in civilian clothes, speaks up. We reviewed the drone camera feed after impact. Several individuals do appear, but we have not yet identified who they were. They may have been associates acting as security and were also killed or wounded. Analysis is ongoing. Kate can hardly believe it. Security? A woman with a child's security? Colonel Lewis shifts his gaze to her and John. Sanders, Miller, you were on the controls. What did you see after impact? Kate feels the room's eyes turn to them. Her first impulse is to blurt the truth. There were women and children, I saw them. But the colonel's look is cold, warning. Under the table, John's leg brushes hers, pleading with her not to blow up. She inhales. We observed several figures at the blast site, sir, she says as neutrally as she can. Smoke and interference made it difficult to distinguish who they were. It is a half-truth. It was hard to tell only for the first few seconds. After that, she saw clearly. Understood, the colonel says, satisfied. Officially, possible civilian losses are unconfirmed. A review is underway. Until further notice, do not comment on this. His tone hardens, especially outside official channels or, God forbid, to the press. A leak of unverified information will have serious consequences under regulations. Lieutenant Sanders, is that clear? She clenches her fists beneath the table. Yes, sir. Good. Any other questions or remarks on yesterday's op? He asks dryly, scanning the room. Silence. No one dares add anything. He closes the folder. That's all. Again, well done. Dismissed. Chairs scrape back. Kate stays seated, anger boiling with helplessness. John touches her elbow lightly. Come on. She stands abruptly, pushing her chair back. The colonel and several officers file out. chatting about next steps against Al-Shabaab, as if nothing unusual happened. Kate hurries into the hall. Her heart hammers in her throat. John tries to keep pace. Kate, please, take it easy. Take it easy. Did you hear him? Unconfirmed information attack. And you just sat there and said nothing. John glances around. Colleagues are passing by. He lowers his voice. Not here. Outside. Jaw tight, she follows him out to the steps. The morning air is cool. 2 guards stand nearby. What do you want me to do? John turns to her, tension in his voice too. Stand up and call the colonel a liar in the meeting? This is the military, Kate. So let a lie stay a lie, she shoots back, eyes blazing. We should have told the truth, John. We saw civilians. We saw a child. You told me that yourself. Keep your voice down. He glances at the guards, who are definitely listening now. Of course I saw, but the colonel made it clear, keep your mouth shut. It makes me sick, Kate hisses, quieter but sharper. We are covering up a crime, John. That's vile. He takes her by the arm and leads her a few steps under an awning where they cannot be overheard. Listen to me. I feel awful too. But if you defy a direct order right now, they will crush you. No good will come of it, not for those people who died and not for you. So I should stay quiet and keep flying like nothing happened, she asks, pulling her arm free. I don't know if I can. John's pleading look softens. Try, at least for now, until this calms down. Please. Angry tears well up. She turns away so he will not see. Go, John. I need a minute alone. Kate, he has no words. Arms crossed, she stares off without looking at him. At last, John says quietly, I'll be in the hangar if you need me. She does not answer. She only hears his footsteps fade. Tears roll down her cheeks. She wipes them fast. This is not the time to cry. In their place comes an icy resolve. If command is acting like this, she has to do something. Anything. She just does not yet know what. A week later, Kate is back in the dark ops booth, facing the familiar screens. Despite everything, she returned partly because she could not walk away, partly because she was waiting for the right moment to act. John sits beside her, focused as always on his sensors. Since their blow-up after the brief, a chill has lingered between them. They speak politely about work, but avoid anything personal. Each carries the weight of what was left unsaid. Today's mission throws them back into the war. The target is a moving convoy in the mountains. On Kate's display, a winding road threads through rock, with 3 SUVs heading along it. Intel says a high-ranking commander may be in one of them. Command wants payback for every missed target. Target in the box, Kate reports, steadying her voice. She settles the crosshairs on the middle vehicle. Her hand shakes a little, but she focuses. Any mistake now, and the missile will go wide. Target confirmation, John says. Thermal in the middle truck matches a large adult. Could be our guy. The duty controller crackles in her headset. Wolf 1, hold target lock. Awaiting the colonel's order. Kate nods, no one can see it. The booth is all machine hum and the faint clicks of John's keys as he zooms the image. She exhales, trying to calm her pulse. This time will be different, she tells herself. She will not allow another tragedy. Looks like they're nearing a settlement, John murmurs, squinting at the screen. Ahead of the convoy, small buildings appear, a hamlet in a valley between cliffs. Kate sees it too. The vehicle's slow. Human shapes show near the first house. Oh God, there are people in the road, she blurts. Wolf 1, hold position, the controller says. He must see the feed too. Awaiting command. Several impossibly long seconds pass with no word from leadership. The convoy stops by the buildings. Locals, by the look of them, gather around the trucks. Maybe the fighters are buying supplies or hiding among civilians. Then Colonel Lewis's sharp voice snaps on. Wolf 1, target confirmed. Engage the middle vehicle. Repeat, eliminate immediately. Heat flushes Kate's face. On the screen, she can count at least a dozen unarmed people around the convoy, men, women, even children peeking from behind fences. All of them are inside the blast radius. She swallows a sob and keys her mic. Sir, there are civilians around the convoy. Numerous unarmed persons. The risk of collateral loss is extremely high. A beat of silence, then the colonel's irritated growl. Lieutenant, this target is top priority. We have reporting this is our chance. You are ordered to fire now. Kate meets John's eyes, sweat beads on his brow. She understands the decision is hers, this time fully conscious. Lieutenant Sanders, execute. The voice barks harsher. Fire on the target. Her finger settles on the trigger of the joystick. The missile is hot. Warning lights flash. One press, and in 20 seconds, the middle SUV will blow and everything around it with it. The faces from her nightmares surge back. Children, the woman with hollow eyes. Something flips inside her. She cannot do it. No, she exhales, lifting her thumb off the button. What? The colonel roars in her headset. Kate's voice trembles, but holds firm. I will not execute that order. There are too many civilians. I will not. The booth seems to go silent, even the instruments. John stares at her, stunned. Dead air, then the colonel, almost breaking. Sanders, you understand you are refusing a direct order? Launch immediately, that is an order. Her throat is dry, but she says louder. No, sir, I will not fire on children. What are you doing? John whispers, then keys his own mic. Colonel, sir, Operator Sanders is correct. The target is in immediate proximity to civilians. Recommend we wait until the subject moves away from the settlement. The colonel sounds furious. No waiting. That is an order, execute now before the target disappears. Kate slips her headset down to her neck to shut out the yelling. She turns to John. His breathing is ragged, but his eyes, she sees support there. He understands, and, scared or not, he is with her. We'll buy time, he whispers quickly. We'll say we have link interference. He does not finish. The door slams open. Colonel Lewis himself stands there, livid, with 2 armed guards behind him. Lieutenant Sanders, he thunders, stepping into the cramped booth. You are relieved of duty. He yanks the joystick from her hands and shoves the chair back. Kate rises to face him, no longer hiding the hatred in her eyes. There are children out there, Colonel. You ready to kill them yourself? His face reddens, a vein throbbing at his temple. You are under arrest, Lieutenant. Refusal to obey in combat. Sergeant Miller, take the operator's seat. The guards step in. One takes Kate by the elbow. She jerks free. I'll walk. Chaos fills the booth behind her. Lewis dives into the operator's chair, grabs the headset. John protests, pointing at the screen, shouting about civilians. Kate hears no more. She is marched outside. Inside her is a strange blend of terror and relief. She did it. For the first time in her life, she openly defied an order. A court-martial prison who knows what may be coming. But her conscience has stopped screaming. She saved innocence, at least this time. A few minutes later, John joins her. He has been kicked out as well. The colonel must have put someone else on the trigger. They stand on the apron by the ops trailers. People bustle past, not noticing the 2 operators pulled off station. The scandal has not reached everyone yet. John walks up without a word. She looks at him, guilt churning. I'm sorry, because of me, she cannot finish. He shakes his head. Don't apologize. I'm glad you did it. I couldn't keep. He stops, then says quietly, you were right from the start. Heat burns behind Kate's eyes. She grabs his hand and squeezes. I couldn't do otherwise. I know. A staff lieutenant jogs up, flustered. Command wants you both, now. Kate and John trade a look. Time to answer for defiance. 2 weeks later, Kate stands by a chain-link fence topped with barbed wire. Freedom lies on the far side. A lot has happened. Inquiries, interrogations, endless paperwork. Colonel Lewis pushed for a show trial and the harshest penalty. but events took a turn. While her offense was under review, details of the first incident surfaced. Independent journalists who visited that village confirmed civilians were killed. The global press ran with it. A scandal erupted. The U.S. Air Force was forced late to acknowledge a mistaken strike. Colonel Lewis and several officers were placed under internal investigation for possible suppression of information. Kate does not know who leaked to the press, perhaps an intel analyst who opposed the cover-up, or one of her few allies on base. It is possible John helped. She does not ask. What matters is the truth came out. Her own fate was decided quietly. To avoid more headlines, Command offered a compromise. Lieutenant Sanders would be discharged for medical reasons, with no criminal record, but with no path back. That suited her. After all she had been through, she was not sure she could serve any longer anyway. John received a reprimand but stayed in. Colonel Lewis sneered that he had taken the traitor's side. Officially, John was not hit hard, perhaps to avoid making him another press hero. Now Kate stands at the gate shack, a box of personal effects in her hands. In a minute, she will leave the base as a civilian. The sun is dropping, the sky burning red like the blast that changed her life. A jeep pulls up. John is at the wheel. He took a short leave to see her off and help move her things. Kate climbs in, setting the box on the back seat. They ride in silence for a while. "What will you do now?" he asks quietly at last. Kate sighs, watching the sunset. "For now, I'll go to my parents' place in Montana. I need to catch my breath. After that, maybe I'll tell my story. People should know what we went through." John nods and starts the engine. "I'll support whatever you decide. And if you need me, I'm here." She looks at his face, familiar, steady, the face that became her anchor. "Thank you, John. I couldn't have done this without you." The jeep rolls forward. Kate takes one last look at the gray hangars and antennae fading behind them. She feels sorrow and relief at once. "We'll see each other again, right?" she asks uncertainly as the road opens up. "Of course," he says with a half smile. "I'll come as soon as I can, and you know where to find me." They drive toward the setting sun. Kate runs a thumb over the Air Force insignia resting on her lap. She kept it as a memento. Once it was a badge of pride, now it marks a hard-won lesson. The future is uncertain, but Kate knows she did the right thing. She kept herself, her conscience, her soul, and beside her is someone who understands her like no one else. In the quiet of her heart, she feels a small, steady peace. For the first time since that fatal command, fire, she is not ashamed to look into the rearview mirror where the war recedes for good. Hit like, and don't forget to subscribe. The next story will be even more intense. But if you are under 18, don't even think about clicking next.